ILYA Samsonov'S arbitration date is set for July 21st, so we're certainly tracking that. One way or another, I think a resolution is coming. I almost wonder if him filing for arbitration was more of a favor to the Leafs, opening up the buyout window for Matt Murray, giving them options. But nonetheless, we will get sort of a resolution to this process in the next week or so here, Rosie.
I think it was, and I think that's why everyone's talking about, the Willie Nylander situation a hell of a lot more than they are about Ilya, because he's going to get signed. They're going to qualify him. It's not going to be a big deal. And again, there's more reason to, for the whole organization. He is their goalie. He is going to be their goalie, and he has reason to do them a favor or say, yeah, this is in our best interest. So, okay, I'll file for ARB. They probably already know what the number is. They might even have already not even need the arbitrator. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's again, it's what do you call it? That's a strategic move, I think. And I think that's why there's not a ton of like heat on it or worry or anything like that. I think Ilya is going to be their starting goalie. I think he's going to get paid properly. It's not going to be crazy qualifying offer. I think it's just a strategic move.
27, 10, and 5 last year, 2.33, 9.19. Pretty much his first year as a number one goaltender, at least in the second half of the season. I don't know about you. I still have my reservations going more than like 3 years on a contract. I don't know if you feel differently about that. I mean, he's relatively still unproven in terms of a number one at the NHL level, in terms of that market. Could only wonder what that number is going to be, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I'd go more than 3 to 4 years with this guy.
I don't really want to go more than 3 to 4 years with hardly anybody, man. Like a
You're
lot
Steve Yzerman,
changes.
pretty much. You're Steve Yzerman.
Some,
Yeah.
what's that?
You're Steve Yzerman, pretty much. That's
Yeah, I guess
yeah.
maybe. I just don't like trying to predict the future. This guy's going to be our guy in 4 years' time. Who the knows what your team's going to look like? Who knows what this kid's going to look like? If you give him 2 years and he proves himself and he's the greatest goalie to ever wear the maple leaf, well,
Yeah.
shit, you're going to get paid, young man. Absolutely. And if you're not, and you don't have it, and you break down and you flounder and you don't have what it takes, and you have some bad seasons, or you're riddled with injuries, well, guess what? You're not going to be, the Leafs aren't going to be forced to have you being their goalie anymore. And that's just how it works. And I like the 3-year deal. That's a nice round number. I think the kid can fill the shoes that time. Sky's the limit for what he can become. And if he's not, they're not tied to him forever. So I agree with that. And I'm curious on what numbers they're even talking about as far as term.
I'm almost selfishly wanting him to take a 2-year deal. It's been a theme here in the offseason because we expect the cap up to start going up starting next summer. And, 2 years to put this team in a good position. Of course, we have seen that trend here from Brad Treliving in the offseason, going short with these free agent contracts or whatever they would be. And that's why I want him to prove it one more season, at least one more year, to prove that he can be that full-fledged number one, because it was like half a season, man. And then you have Joseph Woll coming from behind. Like, there's just so many moving factors that I'm not sure I want to commit long-term. And that's taking nothing away. Like, I firmly believe in ILYA Samsonov. I firmly believe in the potential tandem they have here with Joseph Woll. I just want a guy like Samsonov to prove it a bit more. But I could only wonder, being a fly in the wall in terms of discussions and conversations, what that number looks like, what the term looks like. There's got to be so many moving parts, but I'm with you. Like, I think they have a ballpark in mind. I think both sides are pretty confident they're going to figure something out here.
Yeah, and I think you touched on it before, which is in the Leafs' favor, is a lot of people are taking short deals because of the cap potentially going up and whatnot. So they're not going to be holding out saying, absolutely not, I need 5 years, or I'm going to do that, blah, blah. It's like, no, that's fine with me, because it works for both sides. I like that a lot. The only way you could get screwed is by doing a 2-year deal and then he's, absolutely phenomenal, and you got to pay him a monster ticket that you wouldn't have had to if you did him 5 years. But if that's what happens, then you're already happy. The guy has turned out to be a monster and he commands X amount of dollars. Great, you have a phenomenal goalie, and then you do want to lock him up. So I love that. I kind of assume it will be 3 or under. I don't see why either side would want to go to 5. But stranger things have happened. I guess we'll wait and see. That's probably the only thing I'm really curious about when they do this deal, is maybe term. What's this going to look like?
Yeah, my guess is mid threes or above. I just think you look at the market, you look at what other guys have received, and I just can't see a world. And I've been wrong before. I just can't see a world where it's under 3.5 mil.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, that's a nice spot for a goalie. If he's going to be the goalie and the starting goalie, then that's where he should be. It doesn't eat up a ton. We're not talking about $11 million here,
Yeah.
especially in free agency, we were doing that DFO show and looking at what the goalies were getting, and it's like you only have one goalie. Your season often is made or broken by your goaltender. They can steal you a game any day of the week. They can steal a series. They can lose it and lose a game or a series. Like they're so important. I'm surprised some of the high end goalies, and there's only 32 of them in the whole league, 3-4 million dollars. I'm surprised they're not up at like 7 and 8 million for like a real good goalie, because they're so sought after. But just the way the market works, and to get Ilya Samsonov, if he's going to be our number one at 3.5, rock and roll.